All right. Welcome back to Wherever It Goes. I'm Carlos. My wife, Emily.
Hello.
Episode 19 is what we're at now. This week, we are going to keep it a little more lighthearted because last episode was heavy.
Yeah. I don't really like getting into those deep conversations like on the podcast. Like I would rather have those conversations sitting in the living room, you know? But
This is the only time we get to talk.
I know when we do try to have a conversation in the living room or just literally anywhere, when our kids are with us, it's every 5 seconds we're interrupted by one of the kids.
Yeah. I need to go potty.
I need to go potty. I'm hungry. Or Shepard's crying and wants me to hold him. It's always something.
So this is good.
Yeah.
We get to sit and we get to gather our thoughts from the past couple weeks.
I know. It feels weird and like broken up having a conversation, like a full conversation. Like it doesn't even feel normal anymore.
It's like, who are you?
And then I pause because I'm like, okay, where's the next interruption? There isn't one.
No, we can just talk and continue a thought.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating when I'm trying to talk to you and then I have to repeat myself 20 times and it takes an hour to
have a
5 minute.
Yeah.
Anyway, but here we have an hour. If you're out there and you have a spouse, start a podcast. If you guys have kids, it's a reason to talk.
Yeah.
Or it gives you a set aside
just
time.
Pretend to have a podcast, honestly.
Yeah. So what has changed in the past couple weeks? Not much. I don't know if I talked about this last time. My motorcycle's broken. That is something that just recently happened pretty much. So since the last episode, we recorded the episode, released it Sunday. Sunday, I went to Denver to do some cone drills with some instructors in Denver. And then there's this woman, her name's Christy, and she let me ride her Harley, and that was cool. And she wasn't worried that I'd drop it because it's been dropped before, and she had crash bars on it, so it couldn't fall too far. Like I couldn't have done too much damage. So she let me ride it. I didn't crash it or anything, but I rode it probably a couple minutes. Did some cones, but nothing crazy. And then this other guy was sitting there, and he was like, "Hey, you can ride my motorcycle, which is a Honda Goldwing, big bike." And I was like, "Cool, I'll ride it." So I rode it. And then he was like, "Can I ride your bike?" And I was like, "Sure." And so I let him ride my bike. And then he was trying to do one of the cone drills that's really hard to do. And he just put his foot on the rear brake. The bike stopped. He tipped it over. And there was no exterior damage because I have crash bars on my bike, but it hit it hard enough to where it broke something in the transmission. So that my bike is currently getting repaired.
Yeah.
Which you think is a sign?
I don't think it's a sign. I just think it's good that you're getting a break from your bike.
No, it's because my last bike got stolen, and then I get a new one, and then like a month later it gets broken.
You know, I did say that. I did say maybe this is a sign that like you shouldn't have a bike. Because there's always something that is like
stopping me
wrong with it. Yeah, maybe you should listen to that, honestly.
No.
Maybe you should fix it and sell that thing.
I think if anything, it's Satan.
Explain.
He's trying to get me to not have fun.
No, I don't think so. I think that's all that Satan wants you to do is have fun.
I guess that's fair.
Right.
But it's not going to stop me. Anyway, so that's kind of my update.
I started a kitchen project. So since we moved into this place, we knew it wasn't going to be perfect and that our first place was going to be kind of a fixer-upper. But we were excited because the first house that we were looking at was like a major fixer-upper. It was bad. Like, you remember that house?
I don't remember looking at the houses very much. Are you talking about the one that was like had a crack in the foundation or something?
No, I'm talking about the one that was it was like a big house, but it was like old and
you did most of the walking around, I think.
Anyway, it was really bad. It was a fixer-upper. We ended up not doing that one. We found this place and we were excited because Like, yeah, I could do renovations, but it wasn't a necessity to do those things in order to live comfortably. The other place, it was like that. But the kitchen has been bothering me because the previous owner of this place, one of the previous owners, I don't know which one it was, when they did the kitchen, they just did such a poor job, and you can tell that it was rushed. There was no real effort put into it. It was just so bad. Like, there were drip marks everywhere. The door
Well,
hinges were painted over.
and this is
Everything has paint on it in
and
this
this is
house.
yeah, it's like everywhere. It's not just the kitchen. It's
Everything. The doorknobs, the door hinges, the baseboards,
yeah,
everything is just covered in paint.
they got really paint happy. Bought a
I
paintbrush
think
and just went to town on the outlets.
Yep,
And that's not even a
everything.
joke, like just painted on the outlet.
Yeah. And so, like, it's all those little details that have really started to bother me so bad. So I decided I've been saving up money in a special account for this kitchen project, and I finally got started on it. And I'm starting with the cabinets because that's what bugs me the most. Anyway, so I I think I underestimated just how long and how much work this kitchen cabinet renovation was gonna be. So I stripped all the paint off of the cabinets, and that's about as far as I've got. I haven't even finished stripping the paint off all of the cabinets yet. I have the back of a few cabinet doors left, and then, like, the drawers, I have to pull those out and strip the paint off. And I still have to sand, and then I have to fill the wood grain with
You don't have to do that.
drywall, but I'm doing that because I wanna do it the right way. I wanna put the effort in so that it looks nice. I don't wanna just do a repeat of whatever the previous owner did. So, yeah, I have a lot to do, but we're gonna change the countertops, we're gonna fix the cabinets. I got new door hinges, I got, um, new doorknobs, and we're gonna do a backsplash, and I'm really excited I wanna just get it done, but it's so hard with small kids because we can't have a 5-minute conversation. I can't sit for 2.5 hours and work on my project. I can't even sit for 10 minutes and work on my project without getting interrupted. So it's really hard, but
Yeah, because you thought I'd take the kids for the day and you would just get it knocked out.
well, I did not expect to get the entire project done that day. Not even close. But I expected to maybe get all the paint stripped off the
Yeah.
cabinets that day, but I didn't. It took a lot longer than expected.
And so this is where my my lesson came in. You have been asking to do all sorts of projects around the house, and I'm always like the downer. I'm always well, I guess I'm kind of realistic about it, I guess. Like you're super ambitious and I'm the one who kind of holds you back. So you'll say, I want this to be all new. I want this to be redone. I want to redo this. I want to redo that. And I'm the one that's like, no, no, no. Like, it's fine. It's fine. Because if I just let you go at it, like our tub we wouldn't have a tub for a couple weeks because you would just take it out and be like, oh, we need a new one.
No.
But my
No.
lesson has been giving you room to do those kinds of projects. I think because of two reasons. One is you need to learn somehow. And if I want you to get good at doing these kinds of projects, I have to let you do these kinds of projects. Two, I think it's also like you enjoy doing it. And so I
Mhm.
have to let you do the kind of thing that you enjoy, even if it's at the expense of our home looking
Well, it's
nice.
not like our home is not functional without door cabinets or cabinet doors right now. It's functional. Does it look pretty right now? Absolutely not. But I
And it's
think in
also
the end
stressful
it'll
to
be
you though.
worth it. The stressful part is not the doing it. The stressful part is finding time to do it.
And you're learning a lot about I think you've learned a lot just in
Oh yeah.
this first project. I would say that this is like your first project
This is my first big project, yeah.
and you're learning a lot. Like the main thing is that things are harder than what TikTok makes it look like.
Yeah. Well, it's not harder, I wouldn't say, but
It's not
it
as
took a
easy.
lot more time than I thought it would.
because you see a
It's
time
really a
lapse.
time thing. And I think if the kids weren't a factor, I would have the whole kitchen done by now.
Yeah.
But it's the trying to find someone to watch the kids for a long period of time so that I can get a lot done, which that just doesn't happen. That's not really an option for us. Carlos's mom has been a huge help. And the day that I got so much done, Carlos took the kids to her house to Denver for the entire day, which was nice. But I can't ask that of people every day or every week, you know? And so like I mean our number of babysitters is so limited. And so that's the hard part is finding the time and the people that are willing to help, and then also not feeling like a burden when you do ask for help. That's
Yeah.
like a huge thing.
So if you have tips on how to do projects with kids, send them Emily's way.
Yeah.
Those are the big updates, I would say.
Yeah.
You learning how to do DIY stuff, and me learning how to be patient with you and
Mhm.
let you fail or succeed.
I'm gonna succeed. It's gonna look
When I say
good.
let you fail, it's not like I'm hoping you fail. It's like failure is
I'm
part of
gonna
learning.
fail,
Failure
yeah.
is part of learning. So it's like if I wanted to learn an instrument, I'd have to accept the failure that will come with learning an instrument. If I wanted to learn
Mm,
anything, I'd have to accept that I'm not going to be good at it like that. I'm not going to be good instantly. So I have to,
exactly.
and it's not even like I'm saying I have to let you, like you need my permission, but it's like we do, there is a little
We
bit
make
of,
decisions together.
yeah. I'm not saying that I have to let you make decisions, but we do have to be unanimous. Which that I don't know if that's the right word for this context because there's only two of us, but still we both have to agree on the big things like that. And I think okay, this is kind of going into a hot take about
Uh-oh.
marriage.
Uh-oh.
But well, like you hear people say, "Oh, your husband or your wife, you need to ask them permission to do things." Like that's
Mhm.
they're controlling.
Yeah. It's not so much about you have to ask them permission, it's about respect
Yeah.
and respecting the other person's opinion and having enough respect to be like, "Hmm, is this decision that I'm about to make going to benefit my spouse?" Yeah.
Is this decision going to come in between our marriage or is it going to impact I would say it's like is
Yeah.
it going to impact my spouse in any way,
Yeah.
whether negative or positive? I think those are the things that you need to talk about.
Mm.
But you'll hear people say like, "Oh, he just is so controlling. Oh, you need to ask him permission to go out." Like, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy." Like, "What?" No,
Yeah.
that's you guys have to agree.
I think that those people that are most of the people that are saying that, I think they're not married.
Feminists.
I think they're not married and they probably haven't really been in a real relationship. They've probably been in like some shallow boyfriend girlfriend relationships, but like every single relationship has to have that foundation of respect for the other person. Like it just has to be there. If there's no respect, why are you in a relationship? You know?
Anyway, I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I'm for decisions being made together. And there might be some situations where it's like, "Oh, he doesn't let me eat without asking him," or so. I don't know. Like there might be some weird ones, but it's like these feminists out here are crazy.
All right.
Speaking of feminists, I'm just kidding. So, a new thing we want to kind of try to implement into our podcast episodes is sort of a cultural update and what we think about those kinds of things. So that the structure is kind of going to be we introduce the podcast, we talk about our marriage, and then we go into an update on the culture, maybe things that are going on, what's in the news, and kind of our thoughts on that. So, the biggest thing going on right now, I would say, is the presidential election. Everything seems
Yeah.
political right now.
Yeah.
You can't.
You want to know what I heard or what I read last night? So I was going through, because speaking of presidential election, okay, y'all, I was going through like the mortgage calculator on Google or whatever, trying to figure out like, because we've been talking about maybe selling this place and getting a bigger place, preferably a place with a backyard. Um
You've been talking
in
about
Jesus'
that.
name. Anyway, yeah, so I was looking and I Googled like what was the average mortgage interest rate when Donald Trump was president. I Googled that. And do you want to know what came up? So I
Two,
got the number.
2 or 3%.
It was 2.6% was the average interest rate for a home. Ours is we're locked in at 6.12%.
Did you look at what the average is now?
The average right now is like 7 something. And so there's that, a night and day difference. Trump 2.6%, Biden 7 something percent, all right? And
I'll play devil's.
but under finding those numbers, all of the news article headlines were mortgage, like be careful with your mortgage. Here's why homeowners should be scared if Trump gets elected president. And just all this stuff saying that when Trump gets elected president, which he's going to. Anyway, when he gets elected president this year, all the mortgage rates are going to skyrocket and it's just going to be the economy's going to crash and it's just going to be so bad. But it's like you look at what he did before and then what Biden did, and they're like seriously trying to scare people into voting the other way.
So here's what's funny.
Like they're overlooking the evidence, the facts that are right there.
Well, and then there's arguments that could be made about how much does the president actually impact things like that? And I guess there is an argument to be made about it doesn't really matter too much. I don't know enough about that. I'm not an economist or anything, but I think there's also a reason that there's so much weight to who becomes president. That's the most powerful person in the world. Or maybe not, arguably not. Maybe it's like someone like Elon Musk or something, or Google, which is crazy that they can just manipulate search results and alter an election. Like
it's ridiculous.
That's crazy that they can do that. And what's crazy to me though is the amount of people who are just on board for Kamala. Like I've had to unfriend specifically one family member on Facebook. Big deal. Not really. I don't care about having friends on Facebook. It's not like I did it and I'm like, I'm never talking to this person again. It was like, for some reason, Facebook kept pushing this one person's content onto my feed. And so all I saw was, I'm supporting Kamala. Yes, Kamala. Kamala is great. Look at Kamala. Rosa Parks walked so that Kamala could run. Like and it wasn't ever like, look at the statistics about Kamala's impact on the everyday American, or look at the impact that Kamala had on the average American versus the impact that Trump had. Like it wasn't comparing anything. It was just like Kamala is Sigma or whatever. Like,
it's really annoying.
There's no basis for why people should support her.
Yeah.
But also like all the things that she's promising right now, aren't you in charge? Aren't you vice president of the United States right now?
Right.
And you're going to become president and all of a sudden you're going to start fixing everything.
Yeah.
Like you're telling me that you couldn't have done these things in the past 4 years, but all of a sudden you're going to.
Yeah.
And also that she's a liar to say that Joe Biden was mentally fit to be president or is mentally fit to be president.
Well, the whole time they were saying, "Oh, he's fine, he's mentally fit, he's healthy, blah blah blah," and then they pull him out and say he's not mentally fit for it.
Yeah, but he's still the president. He's not fit to run again, but he's the president right now.
Yeah, it's like that car analogy you were saying.
Yeah, that joke. But anyway, so Kamala is essentially in the driver's seat right now, or the passenger seat. If Biden is deteriorating as much as, or decomposing as much as we see him.
Decomposing.
Yeah,
He's not dead,
He's
dude.
decomposing in front of us.
Oh my god.
Yeah, his eye sockets are inverting. Like, this guy is dying. I don't know how he's alive. I think they have some sort of, he must have Neuralink controlling him or something. But anyway, so he's not the one making decisions. Kamala's got to have some
Oh
impact.
yeah, for sure. For
So it's
sure.
like-
This man can't even speak a full sentence. He's not making decisions.
Yeah.
No way.
It's just so insane. It's like you're on the Titanic. The Titanic gets driven into an iceberg, and then they say, okay, here's another ship that you can, like, everybody transfer onto this ship. I know this isn't a perfect Titanic analogy because that's not what happened. But let's say Titanic 2.0 came up, and they say, all right, everybody get on Titanic 2.0. And they're like, let's let the same captain drive, or the co-captain that was on the, let's let him be in charge of this ship, and let's hope that it's not the
And
same
then he
result.
steers it right into the same freaking
Yeah.
iceberg. That's exactly what's going to happen.
But also, it's a woman, and you're letting a woman drive a ship. So it's like, so it's just completely insane. But there is something to say about, like, having a woman leader. This is going to be controversial for me, and I'm totally fine stepping on toes. I think if you know anything about me or the history of this podcast, if you've been listening to what I've said, you know I have no issue saying things that I think will offend people, because I'm not saying it to offend anyone. I'm saying it just because it's what I think is true. And if it offends you, oh well. I don't think that a woman should be in charge of the United States.
Why?
I think that when you're talking about a position like the president of the United States, I think a male figure fits the mold better, because you need to be strong, you need to be respectable, which I'm not saying women can't be those things, but I think generally men are stronger, men are more respectable. If you think about nature, you have alpha males. Oh, but what about the queen bee? Kamala Harris is not a queen bee. I'll tell you that right now.
No, absolutely not. Here's the thing.
But that's not how society
Men
works.
think more logically and women are emotional. That's why I think there should not be a female president. Women are so emotional. What happens when Kamala is PMSing or something? I don't even know if she can do that anymore.
She's
But
God,
but what happens?
she's like
What happens
70
when
years
she's
old.
having
How old is
an
she?
emotion? I think she's in her
She's probably in her 40s
50s?
or 50s. Like,
40s or 50s. I don't know.
Yeah.
What happens when she's having an emotional day, right? And all of a sudden, she makes a rash decision based on her emotions, because women do that. I know you do that. I do that.
so here's what I think. Does she have kids? I don't know if she has kids.
I don't know.
I think if you don't have kids, you shouldn't be working in a government position like Congress or especially the presidency. I don't think if you have kids, you have
If you have small kids, or if you have
just kids at all,
why?
because you have nothing at stake. You could destroy the country and then die in a couple of years. I think if you care about the kid, if
Oh,
you
if
have
you're-
your own kids,
If you're saying, wait, I got that mixed up. So you said if you don't have kids, you should not run for president. But if you do, you should run for president?
I think that having kids should be a big qualifier,
Okay.
because you're invested in the future of this nation.
Right.
So
You're not in it just for the money.
right, I think having kids, and that's kind of a general rule. I could argue about that at a different time, but I do think that a woman shouldn't be president, because you're interacting with these other powerful men, and women are just weaker. I think if you break it down to men being stronger, women being weaker, oh my gosh, I'm going to get in so much trouble for this. But I think about Kamala sitting across from Putin. He has a stronger presence. She can't even talk. She can't.
She literally is. Why do people think that Biden's not fit to be president, but they think Kamala is? She's just as bad at speaking as he is.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
She
Some
can
of the stuff she
formulate-
says isn't even like, it's not even logical. It's not like,
well,
it's not a logical sentence.
she talks
just to talk.
Well, a lot of her sentences are just full of air or full of fluff, if that makes sense. So
What has been and what will be and what is
unburdened.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's literally what she says. Like,
She's
what?
like, breaks it down Barney style. So she'll be asked like, what color is your hair? I have hair on my head, and that hair has a color. And that
And that
color,
color is the same as it was
yeah,
yesterday and the day before that and yesterday's tomorrow. It's always been
yeah.
that way.
But it's different from the color that many other people have, but also the same. I gotta work on
Just
my
snotted.
Kamala impersonation. But it's like she's just full of fluff. So imagine her sitting across from Putin doing that.
Oh my
He's like, "Hey,
gosh.
I'm gonna go to war with the U.S." And she's like, "The U.S. is a nation, and that nation has people, and those
Those
people are
people
part of the nation."
don't want you to drop a nuclear bomb on them.
Yeah. Like, no, I want Trump to go in and say, "Hey, Putin, here's a photo of your house. Here's a satellite photo of your house.
You do anything, I'm going to kill your
Yeah,
family.
I will literally kill you. Actually, here's a photo of you right now.
Yeah.
There's no photographer in this room. How'd I get that photo?" That's what we need. We need someone who's strong and also I think we need someone who isn't
A pushover.
that, which I think women can be. But also
Oh,
I've
for
seen
sure.
you, like, I'll give women some credit because just seeing you negotiate sometimes, I'm like, all right, I think you're better at that
Well,
than I am.
negotiate or stand up for myself.
Do you think you're unique with that, like being a woman, or
I don't know because
I feel like I haven't seen that as
a
much.
lot of women that I have known and have had relationships with, it's very like you can say something to them and they'll be so fake in front of you. Ugh, it's so fake. They're like some mean girl will say something so rude to your face, right? And most girls would be like, "Yeah, that's funny," or like they just like play it off and they just let people walk on them and then they'll go and talk crap behind that person's back. Like, "Oh, that was so rude. I don't know why she did that." And you see that stuff like on TV shows like Love Island. Like I just watched Love Island
Yeah.
and there was a lot of that. I don't play that game. I never have with men or women. And I actually I in the military, it was very much like if one of your higher ups tells you to do something, you do it. You don't talk back, no questions asked. If they say something to you, no matter what it is, if it's degrading, if it's rude, if it's um belittling you, like it doesn't matter. You don't talk back, you don't say anything, you just take it. I was never like that. I've never been like that. If one of my higher ups ever said something rude to me, I would straight up tell them in their face, "Do not talk to me like that." You know? And I remember you getting um like almost scared because I straight up yelled at somebody, at one of my higher ups for talking to me in such a degrading way. And I have no problem doing it because
I don't get scared. I just probably got surprised. I don't think you see that from women or, yeah, really anyone. But so I wasn't expecting it from you because
a lot of people try to keep the peace, but
you
here's
stand up for yourself a little
I
bit. Yeah.
stand up for myself because I took so much crap as a child. I took so much crap from my dad. And it's I don't know when that switch flipped, but it's just like
Yeah.
I can't no. If you're going to be rude, go be rude to somebody else. You're not going to be rude
Yeah.
to me.
Anyway, let's bring this back around because I think that that's unique. I don't think Kamala is like that. I haven't met her in person. I feel like if I met her in person, I'd be nice to her, shake her hand, whatever.
Right, like I would never be rude
Yeah,
to
I'm not gonna
somebody.
insult her. I think that she is not. I don't think she's a good pick for president.
I don't either.
And I think
I
that
don't
anyone
either.
who thinks she is, I don't think that they think for themselves. I think that they see a woman who's pretends to be black and then but she's actually Indian or whatever. and she just kind of changes her colors to fit whatever crowd she is. All of a sudden she has an accent, a black scent when she's talking to black
Oh,
people.
what?
A black scent. Oh, I know the streets.
I've never heard that before.
You never heard black scent, or you never
No,
heard
I've never
Kamala's
heard
black
the
scent?
term black scent.
If black scent isn't a saying, black scent needs to be a black scent needs to be a black scent. If black scent isn't a saying, it needs to be one, because you knew exactly what I meant when I said that.
I knew exactly what you meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna not think of that word now.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just like
not bad.
black people, they have
That's
not
funny.
all black people either.
That's funny. And if you don't find that funny, then you need to learn some humor.
Yeah. Anyway, Kamala will be speaking one way with one group of people and another way with another group of people. She changes, which, okay, you maybe have to adapt to get people to like you or whatever. But it's like, she's just a liar. She's a woman. I'll just be honest. I don't think a woman should be president.
You've said that 4 times now.
I'm just saying, just to be
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
Unless it's maybe a trans woman.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Lord, no.
Trans woman should be that's right below woman,
Yeah.
I think. Because that's like mental illness. But also, she's someone who supports that kind of a thing. And that's not okay. She also
Yeah.
supports abortion. She's like, that's the one of the big things the Democrats are running on is like, oh, Trump is going to get rid of abortion. We need to kill our babies.
Trump never tried to get rid of abortion, did he?
He opened up Roe v. Wade.
For the states to decide.
So, yeah, he was like, well, he didn't even do that. He like got the right justices in charge to make that decision to say Roe v. Wade is not constitutional. This needs to be up to the states. I think that that's kind of a pansy view. That's where I'm like, I see why he's doing it, because it's so controversial now. Like you
Right.
have to kind of,
You have to
what he's
appease
doing-
both sides.
what he's doing is what Pilate did with Jesus. And he says, like,
Yeah.
I'm not the bad guy here. You guys, it's up to you guys what you want. Do you want Jesus or do you want Barabbas?
Yeah.
And the people are like, ooh, we want Barabbas. Ooh. That's kind of what Trump's doing right now. I see why he's doing it, because he sees it as there's other things that he can accomplish if he just gets into office.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think life it's like slavery was. And I honestly think that, I think in 100 years, when our children's children are reading their textbooks, it's going to say, look, people used to kill their children in the womb. Like, how crazy is that? And there was huge debate over whether or not it was right to kill children in the womb. And all the kids are going to be like, what? That's insane. And all the teachers are going to be like, yeah, I want to be on the right side of that. They talk about being on the right side of history. If you support abortion, I guarantee you would have supported the genocide of the Jews. I guarantee you would have supported slavery. You're not intelligent enough to think of what a human being is and place the proper value on a human being. And if you can't do that right now with abortion, if you think, oh, they're not human, they're vermin, they're parasites, they're cancer, they're just a clump of cells. If you're dumb enough to think those kinds of things about a baby, you would be dumb enough to think those kinds of things about black people 100 years ago, 200 years ago, and Jewish people 100 years ago. I feel so strong about abortion, especially like watching our kids grow up through an ultrasound.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't get that opportunity. I think a lot of people who support abortion are just stupid. And I think they take the default position on abortion, which is it's not a human. And they don't think about it. They just say, I'm out of this. I'm washing my hands of this one. You do what you want. I'm pro-choice. You get to decide.
Yeah.
No, shut up. We don't get to decide what's a human. I don't get to decide if I get to kill you or not, because you're a human being. And if I kill you, it's murder. Like, that's not something that I get to decide if it's murder or not. It's insane. It's insane to me that people even think that abortion is okay. And I'm not saying that women who have had abortions are evil. I think that they've been manipulated and tempted and
lied to,
and they've made the wrong decision. I think the women who say, I've had an abortion, it was a human, and I killed this baby and I don't care, that's evil. Because that's on that side where you'll see people who have a tattoo of a dead baby on their stomach, like with the knife in its head. Or they'll hold up a sign that says, I killed my child. Like, those are the crazy people.
Yeah.
And I hate that's the default
That's
position is like,
insane.
I support these moms being able to make decisions about it's their uterus, it's their body, their choice. You're you're so crazy if you think that you need to have control over women's bodies. Shut up.
I was there in that position. That position of,
Me
oh,
too.
I don't agree with it,
Me
but
too.
if somebody chooses to do it, then like, who am I to judge?
When I was in high school,
But you know what?
that's what
Like,
they taught.
it's when I became a mom that I was like, absolutely not. Because being a parent is when you see these little clump of cells,
You felt the
they
kicks.
grow. I felt the kicks. And it wasn't just random kicks. When I pushed on my belly, the baby would kick. If I played a certain song, the baby would kick. It was a human being, and they have feelings, and they have they have a little bit of awareness, at least, of what's going on around them, you know?
These babies are getting torn apart limb from limb.
I know, it's heartbreaking.
And the
But it's
biggest
when I became a mom that I was like, this is not okay, because I see what this little clump of cells grows into, and my kids are my world. And I would not, if I had decided to abort either of them, I can't even imagine. If I lost Phoebe right now or Shepherd, I would be broken. Absolutely broken. I would never, ever, ever be the same.
Yeah, I've thought about that a couple times. Like, how do parents make it when their kids just die randomly? Like, how could they function? And I don't think it'd be possible for me. Like, if you guys were out driving and then some drunk driver hit you guys and killed you all, like, I would not be able to function at all.
Yeah.
If Phoebe ran into the street and got hit by a car or something,
I
like
wouldn't I truly think that if I lost all of you guys, the only thing that I would want to do is die.
I think I would die of heartbreak.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I wouldn't even
wouldn't
have to
I
kill
wouldn't
myself.
I
or
wouldn't
anything.
even be able to lay down or sleep.
My heart would split in half and I would just die right there. Anyway,
I don't want to talk about that.
so all of this
It
is,
made me sad.
that's like the emotional side behind being pro-life, I guess. But there's also very logical, like, human beings have rights. We all have a right to live. And ending that human being's life before they ever get to breathe air, like, that's not okay. That's not okay. It should have never been okay, and it will never be okay. Gosh, this ended up getting deep, but anytime, I don't even know how that came up. Abortion. Oh, so Kamala supports abortion. So satanic right away. Anyways, so if you don't know who we're voting for, then go back a few minutes and re-listen to that. Not that I think Trump is the best person in the entire world.
No,
I don't think
he
that,
has faults for sure.
but I think he will do the best job. Out of our options, he will do the best job with lessening the amount of evil in our country and in the world. I'm hoping that he holds true to his promises to end the wars that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. It'd be pretty amazing if he does. If he steps in, like he says, day one and ends the war, like that's wars
He
in
could
Ukraine
end all the
and
wars,
Israel.
and these
Like,
people are still gonna say he's evil
Yeah.
and he's no good and he needs to be impeached and
Yeah.
blah yada yada yada.
anyway, I think we'll wrap it up here.
Yeah.
That was action-packed episode. So thank you guys for listening. We're gonna stay consistent. This is episode 19, right? So episode 20 is in a couple weeks, and then we'll be in the top 1% of podcasts.
Whoop
I'm not sure if that's how it works, but
whoop.
most
Maybe
only
after
only
maybe our
1% of podcasts make it to 20 episodes.
well, maybe our 21st, our 20th, or our 21st episode, that's when maybe the internet will like boost our podcast out.
We'll see. Yeah, if you like our podcast, please comment, write a review, do all the things to help us grow. Recommend
Yes.
it to other people.
Comment, like, engage with other comments on the videos just
you
to like
guys-
boost that engagement so that our content will be pushed out. We really
Yeah.
want to make this podcast big because we would honestly, like, this started as like just a hobby. But now it's like we want to maybe make it a source of income, hopefully in the future.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have this be our job and just to help inspire, I think, young married couples. I think is that would be a great audience to have, or people who are dating and they're young and they want advice, they want perspective from people who are young and married with kids. So if you know
Mhm.
anyone like that, share this podcast with them
Yes.
and let us know that you sent them our way. Like that'd be cool.
Yes. And let us know in the comments what you guys want to hear.
Yeah.
Is there a specific topic that you would like our opinion and our perspective and our experience on?
Yeah.
Let us know, please. We love
We're
to
on
hear from
YouTube.
you guys.
YouTube, wherever it goes. The whole video is there. Otherwise, all the podcast apps we're on. So,
Mhm.
and we're on
You can
Instagram.
DM us on Instagram,
We're on
TikTok.
So just let us know, because we're doing this every weekend, or not every weekend, but
Every other weekend.
every other weekend, just for fun,
Yeah.
and because we care about this time that we have together and getting our perspective out to whoever wants to listen to it. Anyway, thank you guys. We love you, and we will talk to you in a couple weeks.
Bye.